here with Rohit Jain, who is the CTO at Esgyn. And you're here at NLPday. How's it been so far?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
Learning some stuff?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
That's great.
So Esgyn is a company behind Apache project, which is called Apache Trifodian. Mm-hmm. And Trifodian is a long-term inheritance of a lot of experience from. It's a query engine, database query engine. Mm-hmm. And it really emanates from 20 plus years of work that's been done from Tandem computers and Compaq and HP. Mm-hmm. And we've been in the space of OLTP and analytics in the past, enterprise data warehouses. So this query engine has seen a lot of workloads over the past. And we were part of HP, and then we open sourced this product as part of HP, mm-hmm. So as more on the transactional and operational side, mm-hmm. As a query engine, and then we spun off from HP in July of last year as Esgyn, mm-hmm. and so we are the company behind Apache Trifodian. We have our own database called Esgyn DB that's sort of based on Trifodian, mm-hmm. but essentially we span. The IP is really the query engine that can span all the way from transactional workloads all the way to analytical workloads, mm-hmm. Because of our past experience with that kind of workloads. But we integrate with storage engines, mm-hmm. To provide the kind of capabilities that you're looking for in big data workloads and applications. Mm-hmm. So like for instance, we integrate with HBase, mm-hmm. for low latency and transactional kind of things. We integrate with ORC files for more columnar stores for more BI and analytic workloads. Mm-hmm. And now we are working towards integrating with a partner called Ampool, mm-hmm. with Apache Geode, which will give us more in-memory storage engine. So sort of bringing these different storage engines together and giving you more options on the storage side. We're using a very powerful query engine, mm-hmm. really to be able to bring this all together with SQL, mostly SQL-based, and so forth. So
okay. Well, and if someone's watching the video and maybe they're not familiar with the term query engine or what the significance of that is, mm-hmm. How could you sort of step that back and help someone understand the significance of it?
Yeah, so I think that in the past, you had a database, and that database you would have client tools go against this database, mm-hmm. and the query engine and storage engine was sort of built into this database. Mm-hmm. There was no differentiation between the two, except I think in MySQL you did have a concept of a query engine and a storage engine. Mm-hmm. So, but for the most part, it was a database that did all of this stuff. You submit a query, SQL query, it did the compilation and execution, and then give you the results back. Yeah. So it was simple. And when NoSQL came around and introduced a lot of these different types of data models, mm-hmm. which were things like big table data model, the search data model, the graph data models, document data models, and so forth, so on, it really expanded this whole field that not everything is represented in relational form, mm-hmm. right? So those are storage sort of, you got to call them storage engines. They are really structures, mm-hmm. but with HDFS, the file system and all that, mm-hmm. they provide you storage engine type capabilities. How to store, how do you spread the data, how do you access the data? That becomes a storage engine layer. Mm-hmm. The query engine, on the other hand, is the one that sort of has to take the query, mm-hmm. and optimize it, say how is best do I go after the storage engine and leverage that storage engine to be able to optimize the query that, and create a plan that can execute this in parallel and provide you the kind of response times you're expecting for the kind of workload that you're doing. Right. So the query engine is really the optimizer, the execution engine that's running on top of the storage engine. So that's why we have now sort of separated these two, mm-hmm. because now you got a lot of multiple storage engines, right. and you have to have a query engine that sort of federates all that data together, mm-hmm. So that the user still deals with SQL, mm-hmm. whereas the DBA and all that can put the appropriate data in the appropriate storage engine, right. For the right access patterns for the workload. So,
all right, and that makes sense. Now, I understand that you just completed or published a book through O'Reilly. Is that right?
Yeah. So O'Reilly does these data reports, mm-hmm. and so I was working with Ben Lorica, who's one of the O'Reilly folks, and he sort of prompted this whole thing about, I'm talking about transactions and analytics. What about this whole concept of HTAP that was introduced by Gartner as a term, which talks about the hybrid transactional and analytical processing? And when I started talking about all the different things that a query engine and a storage engine have to do in order to span this space, we thought it would be an interesting thing to say, what are the challenges in being able to support that, and why to support it well? What are the concepts? What are the issues? What are the things that a query engine has to support? What are the things the storage engine has to support? What are the integration levels and how difficult that is? And what are the different data models that you have to support? And then finally, how do you make this worthwhile for enterprises? How do you make it operationally and manage it and secure it and all that kind of stuff? So all those complexities, so in 4 different areas, essentially the strength of the query engine, the integration with the storage engine, all the different data models you're supporting, and the enterprise capabilities that are needed, which are all the different challenges that you face when you're doing database or workloads. So that's what we ended up writing. I ended up writing about. That's going to come out as a report pretty soon.
Okay.
O'Reilly. So.
All right. So, and if we wanted to find it, it would just be on O'Reilly's site as a report.
As a report, yeah. It's a free report, downloadable. Yeah.
Yeah. Very valuable piece of free paper with it. Yeah. So, you recently spoke on Ben's O'Reilly Data podcast.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And were you sort of touching on the same subject matter?
Yes. Yeah, pretty much on the same subject matter, but we expanded a little bit to talk more about the product as well.
Okay.
About Apache Trafodian and Esgyn DB,
Yeah.
and the kinds of things we are doing as a company, as well, around addressing that space and those challenges of trying to integrate operational and BI workloads. And of course, the focus right now in Hadoop has been more on BI and analytics. And what we are arguing is that as you're moving to more real time and so forth and so on, you really should be looking at potentially hosting operational workloads that don't scale well currently on proprietary databases or are expensive to scale well on proprietary, and also down the road it will transactional workloads if you're comfortable enough with Hadoop to do that, which I think Hadoop is there now. I mean, it provides you pretty solid grounds. You might not put your mission critical data on there, but I think it can do fairly well on transactional workloads. And the point is that you have now one platform that you can use to leverage it, and you can have closed-loop analytics where you're doing transactions, you're doing the analysis of that, and then you're feeding the models back right into your online real-time workloads. And so it provides you this whole closed-loop capabilities. And now you're getting out from the mode where you're now actually leveraging not only structured data, but you have semi-structured data, unstructured data in these different data models that you can leverage on one single platform. You're not restricted in, sticking blobs into Oracle, for instance, or things like that, right? And you have these search capabilities and all these things that are in the part of the Hadoop ecosystem you can leverage. So that's kind of the value prop of being able to do that. So
wow, that's cool. All right, so Esgyn, and then what website should we go to if we want to find out more about the company?
So Esgyn.com or Esgyn.io is certainly one of those, and then there's the Apache Trafodian website, which is Trafodian.apache.org, I think.
Okay.
So I think those two are sources for more information about the product.
Great. Well, and then one thing I also wanted to ask you about, as far as the Data Day here in Texas, it's been going on, I think, since 2013. I think you've been into all of them.
Oh yeah, I've been to all of them. Yeah, I've been a Lynn supporter. No, I think it's great that he has done this, and there's a lot of great talks that come about, and certainly very educational. I mean, the two talks certainly preceding this were fantastic. I'm not into NLP necessarily,
right,
but to me, it tells me what are the opportunities around this ecosystem, right? I mean, so you're a database and people building solutions. You need to be aware of all the pieces that maybe can tie into this. Like, based on that, I've been able to go and say, okay, okay, well, let's look at Python for graph database, and how do we integrate that into our database so we can leverage these other solutions so it's always interesting.
That's cool. Yeah, you get to sort of spread your web out and then catch all these.
And he gets very good speakers, so that and they really give you a very good perspective. So it's not fluff, so it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, solid stuff. Yeah. Awesome, Rohit. Thanks so much for taking the time to come talk to us.
Oh, I appreciate the opportunity.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.